Now let us look at extraordinary words. Today we will discuss Section 7. Section 7 within Chapter 2. One section within Chapter 2 has been completed. The sections are not divided by chapters. They are divided according to the whole book. The sections are divided according to the book. Today we discuss the source of blessings. His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche said at that time, "The only guru with whom we have karmic connection is the omniscient Mipham Rinpoche." I have told you this many times. Everything I say is consistent inside and out, from the depth of my heart. Indeed, His Holiness on different occasions often said this many, many times. And this is said without any other. He said it directly. So what does this mean? In my mind stream, even if the slightest bit of faith arises, the slightest bit of compassion, it all manifests, directly or indirectly, through the compassion of Mipham Rinpoche. It absolutely does not manifest through my own power. Everyone should also remember this statement. His Holiness said that what arose in his mind stream, even the slightest bit of faith and the slightest bit of compassion, all manifested through Mipham Rinpoche's blessings and compassion. It absolutely did not manifest through his own power. Actually, from this perspective, if many of us are very respectful toward our Guru, we ourselves are also very humble. Even though we clearly have our own wisdom and compassion, perhaps it is necessary to say, this is all the Guru's blessing. The wisdom in my mind stream, the compassion in my mind stream, all come from the Guru. If one says this, perhaps others may believe it or may not believe it, but it is still necessary to say this. But many people nowadays don't want to say this. What is in my mind stream is from my own efforts, including saying, my Guru has no wisdom, but I myself am very capable. Basically, some statements, when some teachers give talks, my Guru is... They begin to speak of their own Guru or teacher with a critical eye. Actually, His Holiness's wisdom was so extraordinary. I think in a certain sense he also obtained it through his own diligence and through his own causes and conditions. But here, I don't know the reason His Holiness often said this. Perhaps it is because his faith in Mipham Rinpoche was particularly great, because his enlightenment also came through Mipham Rinpoche. I truly believe this. Even a single arising of faith also comes from Mipham Rinpoche's great compassion and blessings, generating a single moment of faith in the three jewels, generating a single moment of faith in sacred places. Even if we see a guru on the road and generate faith in him, actually the source of that faith is Mipham Rinpoche. So in this way, although it may not be stated here, His Holiness said that through his lineage the faith, compassion and wisdom that arise in your mind streams are also inseparable from Mipham Rinpoche's blessings and compassion. He also said this before. So each of us toward Mipham Rinpoche should have great faith. Actually, those of us who study treatises, who have higher wisdom, these people have great faith in Mipham Rinpoche. For example, if you have studied Gateway to Knowledge, commentary on the Ornament of the Middle Way, commentary on the root verses of the Middle Way Wisdom, and Mipham Rinpoche's luminous essence, if you have studied all these, it seems naturally there is an inconceivable blessing. Also, the principles he taught gradually merge into your heart, including when I translate the works of Longchenpa and Mipham Rinpoche seem particularly intimate. In the process of writing, I feel a natural sense. Whether teaching or translating, there is this feeling. With some other great masters' compositions, there is a concern that their writing style is unfamiliar, not accustomed to. There is this kind of concern. But Mipham Rinpoche, for us, indeed, all of us present here rely on His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok and Mipham Rinpoche's blessings. I think many who have faith in Mipham Rinpoche and Guru Padmasambhava will later also succeed in their practice. From ordinary observation, those who have great faith in Mipham Rinpoche, Longchenpa, and especially in the lineage gurus, their practice is also long-lasting and they have few obstacles. Moreover, regarding their own realization, they all have something extraordinary. So this is indeed a kind of interdependence. So in basically all of His Holiness's treatises, at the beginning there is a homage verse to Mipham Rinpoche. In the treatises we have studied, even in simple things he wrote, for example, Vajra songs. In almost every Vajra song, many have a homage verse to Mipham Rinpoche. Why is this so? I think it is because His Holiness attained enlightenment through Mipham Rinpoche's direct showing of the nature of mind. Between His Holiness and Mipham Rinpoche there is approximately, you see he passed away in 1912 and His Holiness was born in 1933. Actually there are several decades in between, but if one wants to receive blessings, one should be able to receive them. Some people here also never personally met His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok. Perhaps you were in this world, but you never personally met him. But now it is still good. We now have photos, videos, audio recordings. Sometimes we can still hear and see. Basically, His Holiness's appearance with the great masters of the past. Sometimes we really wonder, what did Longchenpa actually look like? It is said that Mipham Rinpoche wore black clothes and looked like an ordinary Tibetan villager, but actually we have never seen them. So for these great masters of the past, it is a pity. Their photos, their voices, these were not left behind, but His Holiness too, although he never met him personally. He often received the care of the light body, so all of you should also practice his teachings, Mipham Rinpoche's teachings. I see that on our side we should still, it is also through the Guru's connection. I have also translated quite a few things related to Mipham Rinpoche, including both Sutra and Tantra. It should be Mipham Rinpoche, including his biography. In 2002 I translated his biography, but last year I asked everyone to read it. I don't know if you read it or not. Actually, sometimes if something is translated and no one reads it, it is also quite sad. Anyway, it just sits there. No one ever reads it, and in the future even less so. Now, at least while I'm still alive, perhaps after I die, someone will read it. It's okay. It doesn't matter if no one reads it, because for us it has the characteristics of a close lineage, great blessings, swift accomplishment, and not being tainted by the rust of broken samayas. So between His Holiness and Mipham Rinpoche and the relationship between us, it is like this, especially his close lineage blessings. The lineage is also very close. There is only His Holiness, or you could say many are from Khenpo Kunho. Mipham Rinpoche's direct disciple was Khenpo Kunho. Khenpo Kunho's direct disciple was Opa Tulku. From Opa Tulku it was transmitted to His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok, transmitted directly like this, it is also like this. Or from the close transmission of blessings, His Holiness transmitted directly to us. Also, accomplishment is swift, and between us we are not tainted by the rust of broken samayas, so it is still very great. Because of this interdependence, I think we recently here some statues of Mipham Rinpoche, originally made when His Holiness was alive, made of ceramic. They are also exactly the same as his. A while ago they were circulating online. Some people were promoting them. At that time I was not happy. I also criticized this in class. But after criticizing, I obtained some statues of Mipham Rinpoche. Having obtained these statues, after a while, let each class do a count. Those who haven't received one, if you already have one, then you don't need another. If this is the case, but our consecration team now, a couple of days ago I thought of disbanding the consecration team, but now if you have to do it yourself, it's a bit difficult. You can discuss it then. There should be enough for everyone at the academy, otherwise for others who have left there's no way to fulfill their wishes. We'll talk about it later. So for this, next week, roughly before Wednesday, do a count. After the count is done, this year's manager and related personnel can take a look. Then for these consecrations, the monks and nuns, can they below, after the exams are over, slowly do the consecrations, then distribute them to everyone? That would also be fine. If there is no consecration, individually perhaps, bronze statues and ceramic are a bit different. This ceramic is sometimes difficult to consecrate, so let's see if it's possible, but this is not certain. There is roughly this batch of things. On our side, these were made by His Holiness at that time, Mipham Rinpoche's in the main temple. This side was Longchenpa's at that time. His Holiness consecrated and blessed them. So regarding this matter, we'll see later. That's one thing. Then moving on, section 8. The Guru with whom we have connection lifetime after lifetime. Actually, the meaning of each of these sections, that previous section, Mipham Rinpoche has a connection with us. Everyone should pray well. We also often, when I first started, I would pray to Longchenpa and Mipham Rinpoche reciting before class. But later, it seemed like too much, so I reduced it a bit. But in the future, we should still pray to Mipham Rinpoche. This is indeed, sometimes praying is very important. If we pray well, it seems through the Guru's blessings, there is some realization in one's own mind stream. This is about Mipham Rinpoche. Then below, the Guru with whom we have connection lifetime after lifetime. In this world, although I am a person with very, very strong discursive thoughts, His Holiness himself, His Holiness definitely did not have heavy discursive thoughts, but he was probably speaking about us. But during the 5 or 6 years that I relied on Thupga Rinpoche, whether observing from the outer pratimoksha, the inner bodhicitta, or the secret Vajrayana perspective, I never saw him do or think about meaningless trivial matters that do not accord with the Dharma. His Holiness, actually, I often say this, his true reliance on masters at Sershul was about 5 or 6 years. His Holiness said this at that time, during the process of relying on his Guru, whether from the Pratimoksha vows, bodhicitta, or the Tantric vows, from all 3 perspectives, because His Holiness said he was a very sensitive person, someone who particularly loved to observe faults, but regarding his Guru, no matter how he observed, he never saw his Guru do anything meaningless or anything that did not accord with the Dharma, or think about meaningless things not according with the Dharma. We probably often notice here, every day perhaps, this teacher is doing something wrong, that Khenpo is doing something wrong. Today he said something wrong again. Tomorrow he thought wrong again. Every day is spent observing. But when I sometimes reflect on myself during the process of relying on His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok, I can say I never generated wrong views. In my heart, I always felt he was no different from a Buddha. If some of his words seemed contradictory, I would always think, oh, this Guru definitely has a hidden intention. In these aspects, perhaps I was a little bit better. One could say that. Of course, I can't be like His Holiness. Indeed, you see, everyone should think about this. During 5 or 6 years of relying on the Guru, he never did or thought that Thupga Rinpoche did anything not in accord with the Dharma or anything meaningless. What is he doing? We usually, after becoming a bit familiar with this Guru, at some point we start to dislike and disapprove of his actions and teachings. Even if Thupga Rinpoche joked with others, I would also think, this joke has this or that purpose. Because usually if a Guru makes a joke, someone with heavier wrong views would think, he's joking, he's so boring, what's so funny, what kind of joke is this? He's not teaching what he should teach, instead he's joking. But if one has pure perception, even if the Guru makes a joke with someone, on the surface it looks like a joke, but actually there should be a very profound meaning. One would understand it this way. His wisdom is meticulous. He couldn't possibly say nonsense. That's how he would think. The Guru's wisdom is completely different from us ordinary beings. On the surface it may seem like nonsense. Really, in the past, His Holiness every time, originally in the Dharma hall, after class every day, after class sometimes there was no review session. When there was no review session, His Holiness would chat for a long time. When I recall those things now, it's very beautiful. For example, at that time when teaching Beacon of Certainty, teaching commentary on the ornament of the middle way, after His Holiness finished teaching, after reciting the King of Aspiration prayers, after that, at first some Khenpos would ask questions. At that time, we didn't even dare to look. There was a Khenpo Gaba. When he was asking questions beside His Holiness, when he was asking questions, we below were all scared. Later, after the questions were done, they would chat with each other like this. But indeed, at that time, we also wouldn't think, he's so long-winded now, why isn't he going to practice? And so on. This, indeed, I also never thought. During the process of relying on the Guru, now sometimes I feel it was still okay. Perhaps it's my own merit. In my own mind stream, there were no such serious wrong views. This is very good. Some people perhaps have shallow merit. As soon as they see a guru, as soon as they see a teacher, they often can't stand it. Nowadays, sometimes on the phone, they send me messages saying, my teacher did this or that, how he's not good. I start reciting Om Benza Sato Hung for them. While listening to the Dharma, they start saying these things. This is really creating negative karma. That's worse than someone who doesn't believe in Buddhism. If they're just outside doing whatever, that's still okay, relying on such a powerful object of merit while listening to the Dharma, seeking faults while arguing with him, then this negativity, who knows when it can be purified. His Holiness never even thought such things, but we later followers, not just thinking, we might actually do it or actually say it. If so, that is also very frightening. Then he says here, about 2 months before the Guru passed away, once he gave a prophecy saying, I will leave this year. Then on the 15th of that day, I don't know which month, perhaps some month before, that is to say a few days before passing away, Thupga Rinpoche in my presence performed a restoration ceremony and a summer retreat ceremony. Then on the 19th he manifested passing away. The summer retreat is 1.5 months. In Tibetan region it's generally 1.5 months. In other places it's 3 months. The restoration ceremony is for confession, a ceremony for purifying everything after he completed this. And the retreat ceremony, you see on the 15th and later on the 19th he manifested passing away. Around the 20th His Holiness was very sad. It seems His Holiness, yes, at that time already. There are details in the biography. Then he returned. He returned to Sertar here. Actually, His Holiness's time relying on masters there at the beginning was still very beautiful. But later on, because His Holiness also came down, Thupga Rinpoche also passed away. Actually, the nature of many conditioned phenomena is like this. For example, summer flowers are very beautiful, but in autumn, when frost comes, the flowers are no longer beautiful. So many things, whether a guru's activities or a dharma center or a person's pursuit of learning. There is a beautiful period, and there is also a rather desolate period. This definitely exists. We should perhaps, whether recording one's personal history or recording our entire Dharma center, every time I think of when His Holiness actually went there, crossing mountains and rivers to reach Sershul, relying on Guru Thupga Rinpoche, that scene was very splendid. Then later it was like the movie Dream of the Red Chamber. Later on everything shows signs of decline. But His Holiness also left his Guru very sadly. Moreover, when he left, his Guru had already left the entire world. So sometimes in one's lifetime everyone will. In the past, when the Guru was alive, the thought of leaving the Guru was unbearable. But indeed, when the time to leave comes, one has no choice but to accept it, and one can accept it. It's just that after the Guru leaves, it's a bit different from when parents leave. After parents leave, it seems to gradually fade from memory. Gradually there is less and less crying. When the Guru leaves, it seems more and more there is a kind of heartache, a kind of reminiscence. Reminiscing is also very hard to bear, very sad. There is this kind of situation. 4 days before the Guru passed away, approximately in the latter half of the night, he said, "From here I shall proceed to the northern land of Shambhala. The 9 brother demons are stirring up trouble. Border armies will invade the central land of Tibetan region." This may cause Buddhism to exist in name only. So at this time, it should be that Thupga Rinpoche also gave prophecies about the various situations that would occur later. After His Holiness returned at that time, basically everything changed. The entire social situation was completely different from before. Whoever prays to me, whoever forms a connection with me, will definitely receive great benefit. You should all practice the Kala Chakra with single-minded devotion. His final testament, His Holiness's, was, Do not abandon your own path. Do not disturb others' minds. Thupga Rinpoche's final teaching was praying to him, especially when encountering obstacles in practice, is very helpful. He gave these teachings and prophecies. Apart from this, he never spoke of any prophecies or predictions. He never said such things. He said this at that time. In fact, that he doesn't give prophecies is also his virtue. Generally speaking, prophecies, supernatural powers, predictions about the future. I also hope that our teachers here will, apart from truly teaching the Dharma, not habitually learn what, as if they really have mind-reading powers. Here, there are a few individuals, I don't know what. If you truly have mind-reading powers, let me know. I'll test you first. If you speak of future predictions, if you truly have some ability, I'm not saying you don't have it. You can have it. But if you have it, tell me. I can arrange a time with you. If you truly have mind-reading powers, supernatural powers, then that's fine. Otherwise, generally speaking, on any occasion speaking of supernatural powers in this current age, it's not very appropriate. You see, Thupga Rinpoche also never spoke of supernatural powers. His Holiness also never spoke of supernatural powers. He also didn't recognize tulkus. His Holiness said his not speaking of supernatural powers and future prophecies is also a good thing, also a virtue of his. This is a sign of his strict observance of the precepts. This is also very good. Thupga Rinpoche's main practice throughout his life was like this. First, cherishing and keeping pure discipline. Second, teaching and practicing the Dharma of scripture and realization. Third, pacifying the 8 worldly concerns. Just as in the prayer to Thupga Rinpoche composed by Akulagang. Akulagang was a fellow student of His Holiness. It seems at that time they would debate. It seems His Holiness also received teachings from him. He composed a prayer to Thupga Rinpoche. The meaning of this prayer is as follows. Buddhist precepts utterly pure, teaching and realization ever increase. The Dharma of realization and the Dharma of scripture, his merit in teaching and practice is ever increasing. Cutting the binding ropes of the 8 worldly demons, I pray before the virtuous Guru. Here, the main points are: 1 is pure discipline, also teaching the Dharma, also pacifying the 8 worldly concerns. Actually, this really, for His Holiness's lineage disciples, this is very good. Without discipline, there is no way to propagate the Dharma. Even the foundation is gone. Without teaching the Dharma, the core of Buddhism is teaching the Dharma. If one does these things for the 8 worldly concerns, for fame and profit, then there is no meaning. So especially many great masters of the past, they place great importance on pacifying the 8 worldly concerns. Yangtang Rinpoche, who passed away from our monastery a few years ago, he was still very extraordinary. Throughout his life, his practice was indeed very good. But every time, in any situation, including when he went to Taiwan or America to teach, he often spoke about pacifying the 8 worldly concerns. Perhaps these great masters of the past, regarding the 8 worldly concerns, still placed great importance on it. Because whether Kadampa or many Nyingma masters, they were not for fame, not for profit. Among the 8 worldly concerns, fame, profit, pleasure, if we practice for these, if we act for these, then truly practice cannot succeed. He was such a Buddha of definitive meaning, a perfect Buddha. Before he passed away, his retinue possessed pure discipline. He himself also placed great importance on pure discipline, so His Holiness previously considered that, from any perspective, he was definitely a second Bhumi Bodhisattva. From some scriptural evidence in Entering the Middle Way, when inferring, he considered Thupga Rinpoche to be a Bodhisattva of the second Bhumi or higher. But actually, when he passed away, there appeared rainbows, sounds, lights, relics, and so on. Looking at these, they are definitely as described in the Dzogchen Tantras. all the signs of attaining Buddhahood were completely present. So His Holiness often said regarding Thupga Rinpoche, he previously always thought he was a guru at the second bhumi, but later when he passed away he realized, oh, he was a Buddha, not a Bodhisattva. He was someone at the stage of no more learning who came here directly. So compared to His Holiness's pure faith in Thupga Rinpoche, we indeed sometimes, whether relying on a guru or seeking the Dharma, in some aspects we might feel ashamed. I remember below there should be more about the circumstances of relying on Thupga Rinpoche. Okay, we'll stop here for today. Sonam dai tanche zubanye tonna nibe jana nche kirga nanchi ranon chubai chubun chulen jowa drasho
bandar gara badna sadarda bandar gara badna sadarda bandar gara badna sadarda